Let's get right into our first fight. For years, he was one of the most feared punchers in all of boxing. Now David Tua, and that lethal left hook. He's back, and he's looking to be a complete fighter and eventually heavyweight champion. Tonight, he takes the first step towards that against Gutierrez. There is David Tua, now 33 years old. His boxing age seems much older, but that's because he came out of the Olympics with a medal and turned pro at 19. Checked in at 245 and a half, has 38 career knockouts. And you know all about his thrilling battles with Rahman and Apia. Those were the glory days. Here are the last 5 fights. It includes a 2-year layoff due to court battles. And since the rematch draw with Rahman, he had 2 wins last October, and he got by Sisi Salif by split decision. He is reunited with trainer Roger Bloodworth. They're working on being more than just a left hook slugger, a well-rested Tua man. He's excited to be back.
Well, David Tua is back into the ring again. You know, I'm back in doing what I love, and that is to fight. So, you know, I've been away for quite some time, but it served me a lot of good, only because the body hadn't taken a beating for over 2.5 years. So it's time to get the show back on the road again.
Tonight the target's Gutierrez. Ed is 40 years old. Got a late start, turned pro at 35. Took part in the Chicago Golden Gloves at age 23. He's 15-2-1, 6 knockouts as a pro. And he's taken a major step up. He's off 2 full-distance losses to prospect J.D. Chapman. Prior to that, he won 7 straight. The scheduled 10-round fight, Mike Ortega is the referee.
Go. Gentlemen, we went over the rules. Give me a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to Golovkin, touch him up.
The ring experience, no comparison. Tua has 30 more fights. He's fought Lennox Lewis for the title. He's been in with Rahman, Moore, Ruiz, Bird, Apia, and he has an Olympic medal. 33 years old, David Tua.
The most dangerous fighter that Gutierrez has fought. One mistake, and you can find yourself, in this case, Gutierrez can find himself waking up in the locker room, and it would probably be from a left hook. That is the forte, that is the trademark of Tua.
First round knockouts, Tua 15 of them with that lethal left hook. He says he wants to be a more complete fighter now. The old style was just to set up that big hook. Now looking to work on the basics, do the little things that make you a good boxer.
Gutierrez must box, must use the ring, must keep Tua turning as he's trying to do now, so Tua cannot be set on those massive legs to throw that massive left hook.
He is a very, very thick heavyweight. So many times in David Tua's career, we've talked about the height difference when he fights some of the heavyweights. Not the case tonight. Both men the same height, just a little bit over 5'9". Of course, that was the big point, the key point to Tua's fight against Lennox Lewis. He could not get inside at range to land that left hook as Lewis just picked him apart with the jab.
If you're going to use your legs with a big puncher like Tua, you better know which way to go. So far, Gutierrez knows which way to go. That's the wrong way. To his left is the right way, away from that left hook. He does not want to move to his right into that power. Gutierrez much smaller, turned pro, 194 pounds, first 10 fights, all in the 190s. Last fight, 222. Smaller, with not only a bigger, but much stronger heavyweight, Joe. Sometimes you can be a small heavyweight, but your opponent can't exploit that because he's not a big heavyweight. Also, he's not strong, or he doesn't have that big power. Tua is strong and has power. The size difference looms large tonight. There's a knock on Tua that he's not always busy enough, even with that big left hook. Doesn't always use his jab enough to stabilize opponents. Give them something to think about besides the left hook. Make it difficult for them to avoid a left hook.
Right now, everything being avoided so far in this nondescript first round.
Of course, Tua is dealing with a lot of inactivity. 9 months since his last fight. Go back 2 fights. He was off 2 years. But the tremendous edge, as you said, Joe, and experience, has fought 5 world champions.
Had legal battles with his former management, was out of boxing from 2003 to 2005, and now he is back. End of 1, Tua, Gutierrez. What a crowd on hand tonight. They are watching the former world heavyweight title challenger David Tua mount his comeback in a very open heavyweight division, a division that he says, I don't want to get sidetracked. I don't want to be thinking about fighting for the title again. I want to take baby steps and work on what I've been working on with trainer Roger Bloodworth.
Of course, Gutierrez's only 2 losses came in his last 2 fights. Both to the same man.
That was against J.D. Chapman.
And they represented his first step up from having fought, quite honestly, a resume of very soft opposition.
J.D. Chapman, a decent-looking prospect who's been on a few of our Oklahoma shows, had a win last week off TV on the Alan Green, Tony Monsante undercard.
Chapman 23-0, as you said, a prospect.
Ed Gutierrez, originally from Chicago, where he worked out at the Windy City Gym with trainer Sam Colonna. He then moved to Oakland, California. When Sam was informed of this fight against David Tua, his one comment was, I don't like that fight for Ed at all. Now he opens up with that left hook, and the first time he does, Tua scores a knockdown.
And the problem there was Gutierrez stayed in front too long. He was starting to feel comfortable because Tua hadn't been doing anything. You can never feel comfortable. You must not allow yourself to feel comfortable when you know you have a dynamite puncher in front of you and only one punch can remove you from the night. You can see how Tua was making him feel comfortable, not doing anything, giving Gutierrez a false sense of security, letting him think they were safe to stand in front. Never safe to stand in front of a guy you should not stand in front of. A guy who has power, especially in that left hook. You can see Tua right there, Joe, how he just paused with the jab. He's getting away with it now with this level of fighter. Might not get away with it later on with guys who will snap the jab and make him pay a price for that. But right now you can just see Tua is inviting Gutierrez in front of him, throwing soft punches, letting him think that it's okay to stay there.
As he found out with that left hand, it isn't. Coming to the last 30 seconds of this second round. Snaps out the jab there.
Like a lion looking for a gazelle. The lion wants to get that gazelle out into the open, to a place where he can't hide, to a place where he can go and get his claws on him. A place where Tua is looking to put his mitts on Gutierrez once again.
Coming to the end of the second round, highlighted by the knockdown scored by David Tua.
Well, what happened was, as we were talking, Tua allowed Gutierrez to feel comfortable. Gutierrez started getting a little false confidence, started opening up a little bit. Here's another look at it. As he's opening up, Tua throws a well-placed, well-timed left hook. And it only took one to put him down.
So many great left hooks through the 15-and-a-half-year career. Had a left hook at the end of the 9th round back in 1998 against Asim Rahman. That would cause Rahman to be stopped in the 10th round. Of course, first-round knockouts against Michael Moore and John Ruiz. And now David Tua, after 2 years away from court battles, and then a 9-month layoff recently, trying to make a run back up that heavyweight ladder.
The task in front of Gutierrez, yes, he has to find a way to score, but mostly he has to find a way to stay away from that left hook. And that means not staying in front of the power punch in Tua.
14-3 edge in that second round, according to Punch Track. 30% landed.
You know, it's a catch-22 for Gutierrez. If he just moves, then of course he's accused of just surviving, not trying to win. And you want to always try to win. but he has to find a way to win without doing this, without standing in front. Move, use his legs, and pick spots on the side. Pick spots on the move. Not right in front of the bigger, stronger man, as he's doing right now. I have a funny feeling, I could be wrong, but I think Tua is taking his time right now. He's been away for 9 months. 2 fights before that, he was off for 2 years. I think right now, he's allowing himself to get some work in.
You know, when I sat with him yesterday, I asked him that very question. I said, you're not going to mind rounds, are you? And he gave me that look like, no. I want to try to develop some of the stuff I've been doing with Roger Bloodworth, and that is try to be a more complete fighter, not just a guy that looks to land the left hook. So getting some time in, getting some actual in-the-ring fight time in, not a bad thing for David Tua.
Especially when you have control of the landscape, the environment. Tua has a guy who cannot hurt him. A guy who he feels, if it gets away from him at any time, he can suddenly pull it back and find Gutierrez. Gutierrez not hiding. Again, at least in my humble estimation, Gutierrez going around or about it the wrong way, standing in front of Tua, who can eliminate him with one punch at any possible time. I believe Gutierrez should be using his legs, staying away from these kind of shots, keeping Tua turning instead of set to punch.
Covered up, Tua came round it with a right hand. Tua wants to work on his moving, more head movement, controlling the ring more. There's a right hand that gets around that guard one more time. Gutierrez not posing a threat that forces more movement out of David Tua. Coming to the end of round number 3, the former world title challenger, David Tua, taking on Ed Gutierrez.
Time.
Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas with you on Wednesday Night Fights, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. David Tua, Ed Gutierrez, round 4 scheduled for 10. David Tua in the black trunks with the white writing. You see the MVOA. That is Samoan for all glory to God. Ed Gutierrez went down in the 2nd round thanks to a signature left hook from David Tua, thus a 10-8 round on Teddy's scorecard, 30-26 Tua. Left hand to the body from Tua.
By the way, in case I haven't said it, Tua can hurt you in the head or body with that left hook.
Snaps back his head with the jab.
And Tua has the option of hurting Gutierrez to the head or the body, as Gutierrez is making himself very available to both those places. Very accommodating is Gutierrez so far for Tua. He can fight at any pace he wants, and he can find Gutierrez anytime he wants to. Again, Gutierrez should be using, in my estimation, his legs, taking away the most important asset, the biggest asset that Tua has, his punching power. Do that. Move a little bit. Make Tua move his legs instead of being set to move his hands.
Right hand to the body from Tua. Short, compact punches on the inside. That is David Tua's game.
All but 2 fights of Gutierrez have been in his home state of Illinois. Guess what 2 fights those were that were not in that state?
The 2 fights against J.D. Chapman.
Those 2 losses.
Exactly. And now here he ventures to New York to take on the biggest challenge of his 5-year career. 40 years old, Ed Gutierrez. Got a late start. Uppercut on the inside from Tua.
Right now on the inside, it's not a matter of what Tua can do. It really is a matter of what he wants to do. Right now, he's at the buffet table, and it's up to him how many times he wants to go there, how many servings he asks for.
Gutierrez isn't going to like the taste of that.
No, he's not.
Doubled up that left hand. Tua letting the hands go a little more here in the final minute of this 4th round. Look at that double left hook, and the one to the body sends down Gutierrez.
4, 5.
And a soft body of Gutierrez. And
This fight's over. It is over. He started to open up at the end of that fourth round. He had doubled up the left hand about 30 seconds previous to that. And this time, when he sent the left hook upstairs and then downstairs, it was too much for Gutierrez to handle.
The buzz to the head from the left hooks, if it doesn't completely short-circuit you, it goes away momentarily. The bangs to the body, they stay with you.
Here's the finishing touches.
All you have to do is see the geography, where Gutierrez is putting himself. We said that from the beginning, in front of Tua. It was just a matter of when Tua was going to land the right punch. And you can see the way that's set up. But take one more look at it. Left hook up top brings the arm up a little bit, and then the elbow is out, and the left hook downstairs does the job for Tua.